Ma'am, we've got you scheduled for 5 o'clock.
88.1 WFSK Fisk University, Nashville.
Top of the hour, it's about 1 hour. I got you. I'll ask her, because we just went live, so what I'll do is, well, if we can email her, I'll try that as well, because she'll use her while she's on there. And what will be your number if she says yes? Okay, I'll see what I can find out. What's your name again? Lena? Silvers? All right, thank you.
That's right, we'll hear from her. Coming up this afternoon, hello Nashville, our wonderful and truly wonderful people. So happy.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Tune in on your way home today, or if you just sit around, chilling. That happens, on Wednesdays. People just chill sometimes. We are packed up. The whole 2 hours here are packed up. So we got lots of stuff, things, information, as usual. And also we have a book this hour, and next hour we will actually hear from Kylie J. So that's some news from the community as well. So we got a lot going on today. Before I introduce the guest for right now, this is just a quick reminder that we are a week and 3 days, 2 days
Yep,
from Renaissance.
next weekend.
It is. It's I will be.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
It's just over.
Most definitely.
It's it's always like herding cats trying to get commitments from people and stuff. In terms of the schedule, my Lord, everyone's got my schedule. So if I sent you an email, would you please respond? I hate to have to do that, but anyway, we are just getting ready for this year's 19th Radiothon, and we hope that you will tune in. We hope that you will make that tax-deductible donation to support WFSK. Let's keep the station going. Let's keep the music playing in Nashville. Now, if you have listened to the show for any length of time,
Please like, share, and subscribe.
I have revisited.
I have a lot of great stuff coming down the pike. A lot of great stuff.
On certain topics and guests.
A lot of radio interviews,
Yes.
Manhood Mondays.
And this next guest coming up is one of those folks. It has been at least 2 years, 3 years since I talked to Marilyn Band. And she fights for the rights of freedmen that will be descendants of people enslaved by members of the Choctaw, Muskogee, and Seminole nations. And Marilyn, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Oh, I am doing pretty good. It's great to be back on the show.
I know. It's been at least, 2 years, 3 years since I've had you on. I haven't talked to you in a while. I haven't didn't catch up. That's why immediately, when I read the address, name, I was like, I haven't heard from her in I don't know how long. So I know.
Where are you viewing
you
from?
got a lot going on.
What's up,
And,
Corinne?
I'm
How you
just
doing?
happy to know that you
Thanks for
continue
joining us.
to
Where you
fight
viewing
the
from?
fight. And that you're keeping an eye on the issues of freedom. Now, can you please tell the audience what is, so. give me some
Thank you for
information
joining
on
us.
these
Please
tribes.
like, share, and
And,
subscribe.
this issue you sent me was about, some rules and changes being made within the nations out here. So I would first like for you to know that I.
I'll be right back.
Time.
Where
And
you
I-
viewing
and,
from? Where you viewing
I
from?
look
Where you
forward
viewing
to
from?
hearing from you today. And what state are you in, Maryland?
Oklahoma.
Okay, all right. How's the weather down there?
Oh, it's actually pretty good. I think it's about 75 degrees today. No rain. It's a good day to get out and about.
That's right. A good day to listen online or in the radio in the car on your way home. And Marilyn, over the last couple of years, there have been several things that the freedmen have been fighting for and trying to get the playing field level. Can you give a quick overview as to how I found out about you was that caught my eye. And would you mind doing that?
Hey, please like, share, and subscribe. Where you calling from?
Okay.
Where you viewing from? Where you viewing from?
Well, I can't remember exactly when the two of us touched base, but I'm the president of the Descendants of Freedmen of the Five Tribes, a nonprofit that fights for the rights of the blacks whose ancestors were enslaved by mostly tribal leaders prior to the Civil War. And the black people that I'm talking about, many mixed with Indian ancestry, some not.
What's going on,
they're
gamer?
discriminated by both the
Where are
U.S.
you viewing
and
from?
the tribal government.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Especially in the last many years. A lot of it's about the money. When the two of us
Thank you. I appreciate
more
that.
recently got into touch, we were dealing with the Choctaw Nation, which was trying to pass a constitutional amendment which make it much more difficult for the federal government to intervene on the how do I want to say it, on behalf of the black Choctaws who were put out of the tribe against their will in 1983. And this was even after the Choctaw Nation, they took money from the United States in order to adopt the ancestors of today's black Choctaws, the Choctaw freedmen. So the money hasn't been returned to the United States, nor has it been given to these freedmen Choctaws.
Now this,
So they,
go ahead.
yes. Okay, so they had this constitutional amendment vote, and, with the freedmen people kind of rallied around, people were trying to get, relatives and good friends who are members of the tribe to vote no against this constitutional amendment. We also had a drive going out there to
This
alert
book is coming up next.
members of Congress, members of the Senate, to put pressure on the Department of Interior if this passed, and the tribe came and asked for them to sign off on it. But we were blessed in that there were not enough total yes votes for based on the tribe's constitution for this to go forward. So, but they're going to bring this up again because, anything to help keep the blacks out, we're going to try to do it.
Most definitely. And you all have been in this battle for quite some time. I know it has to be over 15 years, maybe close to 20.
Oh, more than 20 years. This organization was started in 2002.
Okay.
And so we've been fighting for more than 20 years.
And the same issue is the same for all the tribes. And this will be the current Interior Secretary, what's his name, Bergman? Is that who?
Bergman, yes, that's the one that we reached out to and asked them not to approve it. And so they did send letters back to myself and also our Tennessee representative, Attorney Shelby Ward, who lives in Tennessee, of course, that they formally told us that that it was not approved by them because the tribe approved or disapproved because the tribe did not have enough yes votes for this to go forward,
Okay, so that gives you a
based
whole,
on the tribe's constitution.
Okay.
So we dodged a bullet, but they'll bring it up again later on,
well,
for sure.
so a lot of these battles that you all have to deal with over the years, aren't they mostly about money?
A lot of it is about money, who's gonna handle the money, who's gonna handle the power.
Thanks for viewing.
You know, and you have some of these
Please like, share,
tribal
and
leaders,
subscribe.
you know, they want to stay in power.
Where are you
You know,
viewing
by trying to rally people against the blacks. For instance, in the Seminole Nation,
Thanks, gamer.
the blacks are in the tribe. They tried to put them out about 20 years ago, maybe 25, and the federal government wouldn't allow it. So then their deal is, okay, we'll try to block
Thank
them
you.
from getting any kind of benefit.
Shouts out to the
We're
sister.
gonna use them for head count so we can get more money.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna spend it on them. You know, the chiefs are gonna put it in their pockets, basically. So, but we were successful in one way that, you know, through a lot of efforts, mostly by myself and one of the black representatives on the council. The tribe's constitution allows them to have 4 freedmen tribal members to serve on the tribal council. For the 28, you know, going to Washington D.C. pushing hard, you know, the tribes and the Indian Health Services, the people are able to go to tribal clinics, federal Indian Health Service clinics, to get medical care and the hospitals and things. And some people may say, well, why is that important? Well, if you live in some areas, maybe the tribal health care is about the only health care available.
Well, healthcare, everybody should be concerned about having that.
Yeah, everybody should be concerned, but I hate to say it, but you know, occasionally we'll run into some black person that'll say, well,
Well, it's not that.
You know, well, you know, why are these services important?
I don't do what I
Or
do
why
for-
do you
for
wanna be
likes
in
and
this tribe?
subscribers.
Or whatever.
I have
mean,
several
you can
platforms,
take the position of,
and I've decided to make
I
YouTube
mean,
I can't
black
believe
my
people
focal
say,
point,
we're
if
gonna
that
go to
makes sense.
Africa. We're gonna go
People
to
hear me
Africa.
all over the
They don't want us
state,
to go
all
to the
over the
library.
city.
They don't want us to vote.
My radio
You
show
have
is
to
nationally
push
syndicated
against
around the country.
racism.
But I've really
amongst
hadn't done
people that are
anything
of color.
with my YouTube channel, so that's what this is about.
And yes, people
So,
of color.
for those
yes, people
who
of
decide to
color
like and subscribe,
can,
I appreciate
they
you.
can discriminate
I love you.
against other people of color, and some of the people that have, you know, pushed hard against the freedmen, you know, they got black grandmas hidden themselves here in the back. And for, you know, and,
Sorry about
you
that.
know, but that's another thing. If you're
I'm
loud
producing.
about how you
But,
don't want these freedmen in the tribe,
Y'all can see,
and a
y'all
lot
can
of-
see the
and,
rest
you
of the
know, and a lot
studio.
of times it's expressed that they don't necessarily, they may or may not say, you know, well, we don't want too many blacks in this tribe. A lot of times, well, it's sovereignty, and we want to do what we want.
Yeah.
But wait a minute here. These tribes signed treaty agreements in 1866 regarding the rights of these freedmen and their descendants. So the decisions were made at that time. So you can't now come back in here and say, well, we want to be like you know, the Navajos or some other tribe that didn't enslave black people in order to get rich and wealthy and be lazy and pick cotton and do all of that. I mean, these tribes joined the Confederacy largely in order to keep black people enslaved permanently.
So they joined in the war, Civil War.
Confederate States, the Civil War. And if you look at the Confederate treaties that the different tribes signed, you know, it makes clear that keeping slavery is like the most important point, or the next, or maybe the second most important point So it wasn't just a matter of the fact of the
You're not,
Confederate
you're not the only one. You might be at the moment, but
saying,
trust me,
well,
they'll come,
please
they'll come back and
join
watch
us,
it.
And then they jumped in there. I
Mm.
mean, a lot of it was, well, a lot of people in the
Plus, you
North,
can only see half of
they
the
wanna
studio,
get rid of
and
slavery.
I have
If
not
you
figured
join
out,
in with us, we're always gonna keep black people enslaved.
I have not figured out how to
Sorry.
correctly do my thumbnail for YouTube.
I didn't realize that. So our people, now that you all have 20 plus years of history in educating folks, it sounds to me like you all are still having to go through the same stuff, just with a different set of leaders. The leaders that are over the tribes now, when was the last time they were changed?
Well, it depends. Some tribes, they have term limits or the like. Now, let me tell you about the Cherokee Nation. We have great leaders in the tribes and the Cherokee Nation for the most part now. But that took a long time. It took us winning federal lawsuit in 2017. Then there were people who said, well, the freedmen didn't have certain rights like holding office. We had a tribal court lawsuit as well as all that, which, the judges there also reiterated, just like the federal judges. Notice these black freedmen, they have all the rights of Native Cherokees. So in the Cherokee Nation, there's not a lot of issues, but again, the blacks have had to work to try to get good leadership in there, support the people that are in office. Like I said, it took a long time to win these court decisions. It took a lot of effort going to D.C., trying to get people up there to help us. And we've had some good support out of people in Congress, as some of them are no longer with us. And I'm talking about, some of these people like Mr. John Conyers, some that have retired, Miss Watson, but we still have some up there like Miss Waters that are for us. Mr. Frank is one who retired several years ago. But as I said, all of this takes time and effort and money.
Most definitely.
So by far, the freedmen rights in the Cherokee Nation are being, how do I want to say it? The black freedmen in the Cherokee Nation, by far, our rights are being enforced by the tribal government as opposed to some of these other tribes. And in the Creek Nation...
Why are they treated like that? I'm just, even though in my mind I'm pretty much figured it out. Why would they be treated like that?
Why? Okay, a lot of it is racism. Let me. You may not know that much about Oklahoma history. Okay, when these tribes were in the South, and they became introduced. A lot of this was by white men who married Indian women in the tribes to plantation slavery. So that's kind of like, well, hey, we can get rich. We don't have to do the hard work. So they started introducing, even before the tribal removals in the 1830s, these black codes, these slave codes.
God is real.
Capital more or less
G.
were either not allowing blacks to be free citizens in the nations, or even worse. Then, of course, you come to
Y'all not gonna hear
Oklahoma,
this nowhere else.
You have these treaties eventually.
The lady
in
talking is
1866,
Marilyn Van.
and Oklahoma becomes a state in 1907. And Oklahoma was mostly settled by Southerners, white racist Southerners who were appalled that, within these tribes, they're seeing black people holding office, going to school, people with big ranches, not sharecroppers like in the South. And then, before Oklahoma is, so a lot of them, their attitude is, we're going to get these blacks, that wasn't necessarily the word that they thought.
Yeah.
In line.
So the tribes, Marilyn, so the tribes, they Not just the white plantation owners, but the tribes had slaves too.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. They had slaves, and for some people who try to say, well, no, they didn't. The tribes got paid, with people, okay, like for instance, on these trails of tears, during these Indian removals, if somebody's slaves died, the federal government, they paid them. They didn't pay the family of the black slave that died, and so those are all part of federal government documents. The treaties that were made in 1866, they talk about slavery. There were even federal censuses made by the U.S. government in 1860 that listed slave owners and the number of slaves, and there was more descriptions. It might say, man, woman, girl, boy, whatever. No name of the slave. But there's a lot of federal documents that are public records that talk about slavery. The constitutions of these tribes, they are public records that they had, for instance, in the 1830s, 40s, 50s, whatever. They all talk about slavery. They all talk about, blacks aren't going to be persons of African ancestry, or Negroes, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to do this, couldn't do that, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. So all of this is part of history. Now, some of the tribes are trying to hide it.
There's no such thing. Y'all have too much history.
You can't hide in 2025. You can't hide these kind of things. And I mean, because records are there. People can go to the internet. People can get in their car. They can get in their, they can jump on a bus, whatever. They can go to federal archives. They can go to university libraries. People write books. So many people are writing books about blacks and the tribes that there were almost no books 20 years ago.
Yeah. Now, Marilyn, I got two quick things, really quick, and then I'll go to you. Obviously, there was more than slavery going on because everybody black says that their family, they got granny, great granny, or whatever, father was a part Indian. So there's a lot of mixing going on in that situation. But even though they had the slaves, it still didn't make them any different to the eyes of the plantation owners and a white mainstream.
Well, yes, that is exactly correct. I mean, it's let's say that you have most of these tribes, let's say by 1860, they had some kind of laws against people marrying their slaves, or even if they didn't, or the person got, say, freed their slave and married them along before, that child still had some restrictions against them. And then when Oklahoma became a state, the first thing that was passed, laws passed, were the Jim Crow law. Any person with African ancestry, one drop, was legally a Negro and was subject to all these Jim Crow segregation laws. So even, some person proving that they had Indian ancestry, you were still subject to all of this discrimination once Oklahoma became a state.
Thank you for sharing it on Facebook. I really appreciate it.
So those folks in the tribes that had no African ancestry, that were legally white, based on Oklahoma law after 1907, they started looking down on their Negro relatives over here.
Oh, wow.
Well, I just sit in the front of the bus. I don't have to sit in the back of the bus. That kind of attitude.
Oh, yeah.
To feel
That's
that
nuts.
they were better
Yeah,
than their
that's
Negro
crazy.
relatives.
Yeah. So these people try to act like these folks weren't their relatives, and they are because of their skin color, and so they would be. That sounds like a lot like almost today, almost. X, I know you have a question. We're almost out of time.
Yeah, she may have answered this already, but you know, listening to such deep, detailed history that you give, I was just wondering, are there some places, I know we've got the National Museum as well in DC, but are there any records around the country that you believe are being hid? It just seems like with so much history, that there's the chapter of history in the United States seems to have just been erased. It's almost as though, yeah, it's like no one has heard of slavery other than, yeah, some folk owned some slaves and they picked cotton. But there's really no record. There's really no, other than the movie Roots, I don't think there would have even been a visualization of how cruel it was. So how could the whole country just sweep this under the rug and keep it moving?
Okay, well, you know, there just needs to be more books written, more papers written, things like this by university professors, students, and the like. And there are some. There's a few films that are out there about slavery in the tribes or freedmen. You also, you know, at your archives, at some of your universities across the country, you know, some of these books are there. I mean, for instance, Hannibal Johnson, a black person, a black attorney, he wrote a great book about blacks and the tribes and slavery and what's going on. Now, this book is about 10 years old. But it's in layman's language, and it's just really excellent. There are other people who have written books.
Great.
So, I mean, there's the knowledge is
All right,
getting
we're going to
out
punch you
there.
through to the board.
Like I said, but when you talk
wrap
about
up our
some of the
previous
tribes,
guests, take a quick break, and
tribal
then we'll come
leaders
right
like
back
in
to
the
you.
Creek Nation, where they just had a case that said that they're supposed to start registering the freedmen in the tribe again. And
This is
and
the next
chief
guest.
is just sitting on this, like I said, to say, oh no, we got to get past these tribal elections here. We can't have these black folks voting against the ones I want to win this election that's going on right now.
Where y'all viewing
So
from?
as I said, there's more and more information out there.
Yeah, it is.
But the films and things that the tribes are doing, they're pretty much not talking about it, except for the Cherokees.
Well, one of the concerns I have had on this topic is, as we see things being scrubbed from history that is not likable to a certain person in his group, then we're going to turn our back and act like it doesn't exist, as like the National African American Museum. You know, go through there and take out everything that you don't like. Do you see that being the same way for the tribes?
Oh yes, I have a good friend who used to be on the Descendants of Freedmen Association board, and he lives and he was talking about the tribal museum for the Muskogee Creek Nation. They used to have pictures of tribal leaders who clearly had African ancestry, people who were in office between, say, 1866 and when Oklahoma became a state in 1907. And he said all of these pictures of these black-looking tribal leaders have been scrubbed from that museum. And so people can't even see them.
Right.
So yes, these things, have happened.
Yes.
And
they're about to happen again, Marilyn. Okay, they're just about to happen again. I have a feeling.
Yes, I've only been to the Indian Museum one time,
Okay.
and they had one or two exhibits that were talking about blacks and slavery and things like this in the tribes, but I don't know what's going on in that museum there. So I have some concerns. I'll just say that.
Well, I want to say about that. When there were people in the current administration that go through there and tell them to take certain displays down because they feel uncomfortable or whatever it is, then that's also could happen for their tribes museums as well, if they're government funded.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that like this black,
We gotta let this guest go.
American History Museum,
another one coming up?
the American Indian History Museum, all those are funded.
Welcome to my channel. I
by
am
the
X and the
United States
X-Man Lawson, the
government.
super
Of course,
producer.
Each tribe can fund its own museum, you know, for instance, say in Tahlequah or Okmulgee or different, you know, wherever their capital is, or if they want to pay for some other museum. But when it comes to the federal funds, you know, say the Muscogee Creek Nation, you know, they can't call up there to Washington and say, hey, you put this in here, you take that down, or whatever, because they're not in charge of that. They're only in charge of the museums that they're paying for with tribal funds, say for casinos or any other businesses that a tribe has.
Well, there certainly are a great deal. There's a volume, so much out there. It just is so much out there. I don't know how they're going to scrub our history. Like, I just don't know. Before now, because we have things, 1,000 different ways people communicate and get things to you and have tools for researching. It's going to be, I don't know how you can shut everything down altogether unless you start going in people's houses and their buildings and they work. I mean, there's just, it doesn't seem to me like it's going to be possible. And I'd say we need to know our history so we won't repeat it.
Well, I think, well, yes, we need to know our history. And, you know, so some of this is going to come from, you know, within the homes, within, you know, people running nonprofits, and people writing books, and those tribal leaders that do want to follow the law. For instance, at the Cherokee holiday, as I said, Cherokee Chief Hoskin, he is very much in favor of the 1866 treaty. He is much in favor of the freedmen, you know, our rights being enforced. Just recently, he had announced that he has African ancestry himself.
Oh, wow.
He's descended from a black slave himself, which I don't think that very few people knew.
No, I'm sure. He kept the dark side quiet. I don't know those people. Marilyn, I do say I got to go because I have my book author on hold. But I'm not going to let it be as long to talk to you in the future as I have this time. Because there's so many questions I have about what's going on with the tribes, and also as it relates to the current administration, which is taxpayer money, but who's got the levers, who's got the pocketbook. So, Marilyn, if people want to know more about the work that you are doing and the ancestry history, or what, you can guide them to something, tell them something. And I hope the people that are in this area that know some of the folks that are in tribes, the issues that they have to deal with, besides the issues we have to deal with. So it's compounded. And this discussion about skin color and light and dark, I definitely want to revisit that next time that you come.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I very much enjoy being on the show.
Thank you.
Please reach out to me anytime.
I am, believe it. Once I got your number, I got you. And I'll get you back on my schedule very soon, for real.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome. All right. Bye-bye.
Take care and God bless.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. God bless. It just never ends. It just literally never ends. Let's take a quick time out. And coming back with today's book, let me see. We're going to have a new guest on too. This is brand new. This is Mary Olson Menzel. She is the author of What Lights You Up? That's a question. That's really a question. Illuminate your path and take the next big step in your career. So, Nashville, what lights you up? We'll find out. Let's take a time out and we'll be right back.
You're listening to What's That 411 with Sharon Kay.
Want to give your opinion today? The phone lines are open. Give us a call at 329-8810, 329-8810.
What's the 411 with Sharon Kay is brought to you by Terry W. Jones, independent agent, State Farm Insurance. Life insurance is one of those subjects that makes people want to change the subject rather than admit they probably don't have enough. That's why State Farm agent Terry W. Jones focuses on how the benefits of life insurance actually live on by asking
He did, but I mean,
people to
it's-
think in terms of life without
It probably
having
is her
to
phone.
sell
Depends
the
what kind of
house,
phone she might be using.
insurance, or
If she's on
life
speaker,
without
if she's on her
having to give up
Bluetooth, if
college
she's on something like that.
insurance. Find
I
out
think-
how
I don't
the
think that's
benefits
what it
of
was.
life
I-
insurance
that
can
might have
live
been some of
on
it.
for your
But,
family.
even
Call
I
State
didn't
Farm
hear our
agent
music
Terry
and stuff.
W. Jones
I'm
in Nashville at 615-256-6066.
Well, I'm also playing off the Reduga, just the regular music.
Terry W.
But it is lower than everything
and put
else.
the life back in
That
life
ain't it.
insurance.
That's not it.
Whatever I do, I am always a queen.
That's Nelly Tiger Travis and this Baby Baby Blues week on Blues Time in the City.
Yeah.
Nelly is talking about the late Queen of the Blues. Oh, yeah.
You got 20 seconds.
Come Taylor. Her birthday is September the 28th. And yes, we play the best in old school blues and new school sons of soul. Join me on Roisin Bailey for Blues Time in the City this week, right here. Catch Blues Time in the City Sundays from 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Jazzy 88.
Keep up with guests and topics on What's the 411 Sharon K. Friend us on Facebook and Twitter. Search under Sharon K's 411. All right, to Nashville. Sharon K is in the house. Mighty glad to be on Jazzy 88 WFSK Historic Fisk University. And What's the 411 with Sharon K is brought to you by Terry W. Jones, independent agent, State Farm Insurance. We thank you so very much for supporting What's the 411. Now, our book for this afternoon is, I asked the question before the break, what lights you up? That's an interesting time. Depends on who answers it. Eliminate your path and take the next big step in your career. And I want to introduce Marion Olson Menzel. She's an executive coach for teams and individuals. She's a business advisor, a speaker, and the founder and CEO of MVP Executive Development. And Mary, how are you doing today? You well?
I am good, Sharon. How are you?
I'm excellent. I am excellent. Because I wanted to pull you in now so you can